and welcome to another episode of the Verde Valley Experience. I am your host, Jennifer Cohen. Thank you once again for joining us today. Absolutely fine weather we've been having, even that crazy rain, and this is all just wonderful, wonderful springtime weather. It's getting warmer. We're getting outside. I planted my garden this week. I don't know about you, but I started planting, so it's time to start thinking about that. Of course, now the theater is happening, and there's all kinds of other things happening. We're just celebrating life here in the Verde Valley, so that's what we do here on the Verde Valley Experience. We celebrate all these wonderful people that live here. Our first guest today is our amazing, fabulous return on the show for James. Fiddler on the Roof is opening up on the Mingus stage April 22nd through the 30th, and the choir, the band, and the theater troupe are thrilled to be bringing this show to life here in the Verde Valley. In the village of Anatevka, a village steeped with traditions, the milkman Tevye is forced to change the traditions of his past and form some new ones. Now, you know, it's an interesting theme, and even though this play premiered in 1964, its messages and that theme are still relevant today, and I think probably will be for pretty much ever. And we're pleased to have the director, James Ball, and actor Ethan Miller in the studio who'll be telling us all about it. And from Verde Natural Resource Conservation District, Chris Jensen will be back in to talk about the upcoming Alternative Plant Festival. He'll be joined by Verde River Growers General Manager Lindsey. If you've ever wanted to know more about planting with natives and conserving water while creating a beautiful landscape, now's your chance. Chris and Lindsey will be in the studio to fill us in on what's happening at this year's fair. Our next guest will be reenactor and military enthusiast Violet Garza, along with Sheila Stubler, who is the manager of the Fort Verde State Historic Park. One of Verde Valley's own, Violet, is heading off to begin her career in the U.S. military. Yep, that's right. And she will be very much missed. She is a reenactor and a collector of militaria, and Violet's enthusiasm and expertise is invaluable. I am thrilled to have the opportunity to talk with Violet and Sheila before she departs. Then we'll go on location to Pat McMahan's Museum of Agates. Pat has spent much of his past 26 years collecting agates. His long years of intense rock hunting resulted in one of the most comprehensive collections of sagonite, plume, and banded agate in the world. More than 8,000 polished agates and other specimens from over 550 locations can be admired at his Museum of Agates in his home here in the Verde Valley. Most of the agates in his collection have been dug and collected by Pat, and all of them are awe-inspiring, so stick around. You'll want to see that. And we'll finish out our show today with the musical stylings of singer-songwriter Hank Erwin. Hank's an American original, good as you can say it. A compelling songwriter, natural-born storyteller, and a fine, heartfelt singer with an intriguing guitar style. His prowess on the guitar and the rawness of the music and the sincerity of the lyrics will definitely captivate you. He's a naturally gifted musician, a wonderful human being, and you'll be able to see him right here, so make sure you don't go away. Don't miss a second of it. We're going to go ahead and get started. Our first guest today, James Ball, who's the director over at Mingus Union High School, the theater troupe there, and the fabulous and talented Ethan Miller, who is our student actor, and of course the star of the show, Tevye. That's so exciting. Too bad you don't look anything like him. Such a shame.
I honestly try.
You had to try? I mean, it's amazing. This is great casting.
Couldn't shave his beard when he was cast, and it's been growing ever since then.
I know 60-year-old men that can't grow a beard. So this is fantastic. James, you must be really excited to have this big show going on.
I am absolutely thrilled. Music theater is my passion, and I love that each year, at the end of the year, we get to present some big music theater piece, and this year Fiddler on the Roof is something I've always wanted to do. It's my father's favorite musical, and so this year I said, you know what, I'm going to do it. I don't know how we're going to do it, but I think that we can bring this to the Verde Valley. And through the past 8 weeks we've had rehearsal. It's just amazing to see what these kids come up with and their dedication and ability to transmit this story through the ages.
Mm-hmm. And it is a great story. Pretty much everybody's got to know Fiddler on the Roof. If you don't, where have you been hiding? It's an amazing story full of songs. The singing, just that alone is a lot of effort.
Yeah, it has a lot of great classics that were heard all around back in the 60s when it came out, and I think just going down the street and saying Fiddler on the Roof, someone will be like, matchmaker, matchmaker.
Oh, yes. Tradition.
If I were a rich man.
Oh, yeah, we love that with the dance. At the grocery store and everybody's doing that. I mean, it's so much fun. What a great choice. How do you go about choosing what you're going to do every year?
I flip a coin and then I decide. No, I'm joking.
You got me there.
No, really just, I try to give a variety throughout the season, throughout the years. And last year we did Footloose, which was like a modern, more 80s type flick, and I was like, all right, we did something modern. Let's look at the classics and which one speaks to me, because I have to be passionate about it if I'm going to try to pass that off to the students and to the technical team. And I just my dad was talking to me about Fiddler on the Roof, and I was like, oh, you know what? That's it.
Oh, in honor of Dad.
Yep.
That's nice. That's very sweet. Now, Ethan, how long have you been acting?
This is my 7th show at Mingus Union High School.
Right.
I have been acting over at Mingus since my sophomore year. My first play was Thoroughly Modern Millie. And ever since that show, I was just like, this is it. I want to continue doing this throughout the rest of my high school career. And also looking to pursue it forward onto college over at Yavapai College also. And see if I can transfer to other acting colleges also around the country.
That's great. So you're inspired and ready to roll on that.
Yes, I am.
That's great. And then thank you, James. See what you've done for this wonderful young man.
Thank you, or I'm sorry. I don't know which one to say yet. But
Well, you thank you, and then to the parents you go, I'm sorry. That's not what the parent wants to hear, but I did the same thing. So
Hey,
I know.
worked out well for you, so there's hope. There we go.
A million years later, here I am. So it's a great place to go, somewhere where you can express yourself. I mean, acting is such an art and a craft, and really we've lost a little bit of that. So to be able to continue the theater arts in school is so huge. That's so huge. Now, as far as your openings, let's see, when are you opening up? You're opening on April 22nd.
Yeah, we're opening on Saturday, April 22nd, and we're doing Saturday and Sunday the first weekend. Saturday at 7, Sunday at 3, and then the following weekend, the 28th and 29th, that's Friday and Saturday at 7, and Sunday the 30th at 3 as well.
There you go. Well, that's a good amount of shows.
Yeah, 5 is...
5 shows.
If we sell all of them out, we'll add more, but, you know,
Oh, hey, that's
it's a big auditorium, so we'll keep hoping.
And what's the admission price?
Admission price is $12 for adults, $11 for seniors, and $9 for students.
Wow.
And you can buy it online at showtix4u.com. That's TIX, the number 4, the letter U.com. Or you can stop by the bookstore or call our box office line.
Wow, that's handy. Boy, and you know, you can't buy lunch for that. So
No,
and where else can you get entertained? How long does the show run?
The show time itself is about 2 hours and 45 minutes with a 15-minute intermission. The original movie, if you ever watched that, is like 3 hours and 10 minutes. So we're a little shorter than that, but it's definitely a classic piece, and it has the classic time on it. So
That's amazing. And how many are in your cast? This is a pretty big cast.
we have a cast of 32. We have a pit orchestra of 25 people from Phoenix and Flagstaff and Prescott are coming every single day to be in our pit orchestra, and we have a crew of about 45, and we've had about 120 students help make the set, and it's a huge mammoth undertaking, and we're just excited that so many people can get involved, and the result is just, well, it's award-winning, as we've done in the past, and hopefully we'll continue to do.
Yes, you guys every year do an award-winning job. Really, that says a lot. The quality of the students that we have at Mingus Union High School, the quality of the teachers that we have. I mean, it's just great collaboration between both groups to make such a hit every year. That's just great. And this is the end of the year one. This is your last one for the year?
Yes, this is like in May we have student-directed one-act play festival and just choir concerts and senior showcase, but it's the last main event of the season, and then just the little tags at the end.
The big bang. That's great. Okay, so get your tickets. You can get them now, right?
Yeah, we've been on sale for about a couple weeks now, and tickets are starting to sell now that word's getting out and people are excited.
Yeah, I bet. So opening night, that's always a big deal. April 22nd at 7 p.m. and it's like $12 to get in. That's amazing, $12. You can even wash your car for $12. And then Sunday at 3, so a matinee, that's always a nice thing. Kids love the matinees. And then, of course, Friday of the next week, Saturday, and then another Sunday matinee. So you've got plenty of time to get in there and check it out. What is your favorite part about playing Tevye, Ethan?
My favorite part about playing Tevye is being able to fully grasp on how things operated back in those days. Mainly how nowadays we have machinery and all the other revolutionary products that have happened throughout the years. But in 1905, when the play takes place, there's not really any of that. As Tevye himself shows, his horse loses his shoe at the very beginning of the play, and he has to carry the wagon around throughout the entire play himself. And it just goes to show we've come a far way, and shows that he has to continue on traditions and everything. It works out really well. That's what I love about this play.
Oh, that's excellent. Very well spoken.
Thank you.
Very well spoken. Gosh, how are you going to follow that up?
Just don't ask me a question.
Oh my God, Dave. Here, I was going to ask you another deep question.
Okay, I'm ready.
You're not going to follow that. So, what's your favorite part of the play?
My favorite part that I've come to learn to love about it is just the timelessness of the father and of the characters and of the new traditions. I mean, this was the Jewish people that were being taken out of their society in Russia, and we like to think, you know, hey, that's never going to happen again. That's so outdated. And yet all around the world, we see religious groups and other people being persecuted for that. And it's just the timelessness and the relevance of this play that's set in 1905, that was written in the 60s, and now it's 2017, and it's still around, and it's really impactful when you think of it as the modern light onto this historic play.
There you go. Good choice. Very good choice.
How'd I do?
Very good. That was very good, James. Ethan, very good. Guys, thank you very much for being here.
Oh, thank you for having us, Jennifer.
Have a great run, break legs and lights and all that good stuff. Yes. And make sure you check out Mingus Union High School's production of Fiddler on the Roof. Starts April 22nd. And we'll be right back, so don't go away.
They told me a bottle couldn't dream. That I would never become a superhero. But I learned how to fly. Just to come back in a new disguise. And be the hero that I've always wanted to be.
They're coming. Places, everybody.
Light check. 1, 2, 1, 2.
Everything looks good on our end.
And lights.
Come alive with the forest. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a forest near you.
This new dad is picturing a tree house in the sky, but he's ignoring the instructions. Good luck, big guy. His kids know that he's building without a clue. Never been so good with nails and glue. Now we're trapped inside a box. I hope mom knows what to do. Mom! See, you don't have to be perfect to be the perfect parent.
Thousands of siblings in foster care will take you just as you are.
And welcome back to the Verde Valley Experience. We are now here with Jensen and Lindsey, who are from, wow, it's a lot of long titles here. Verde Natural Resource Conservation District, and of course, Verde River Grower, the general manager, Lindsey. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you for bringing flowers.
Thank you.
My favorites. I love when I brought flowers.
Pleasure to be here.
This is always a wonderful, wonderful event that you put on, the Alternative Plant Festival. It is so important for us to work with our native plants, and we have beautiful native plants. Every time I'm out in the forest, I'm like, oh my gosh, look at the flowers, and they're just starting to come out now. I'm noticing up near Sedona, we have our globe mallow coming out and our blackfoot daisies and these little guys, which I'm excited you brought because I see and I don't know their names. So this is excellent timing, Lindsey.
Yeah, a lot of things are in bloom, especially with all of that nice rain we got this winter.
Yeah, I know. And now, even though it's been an odd season, we've had a lot of rain, but don't get used to it. It's still Arizona, right? We still need to plant to conserve water. And is that the big theme for the Alternative Plant Festival?
Generally, yeah. The motivation behind it is to encourage citizens to use low water native plants. Low water is very critical. Native plants help support the habitat and the environment, and in general are good for the food web and for a number of environmental reasons. However, it's really important because, as you say, we have had some rain this year, but we've also been in a state of drought since roughly 2000. And 1 year of rain does not eliminate 16 years of drought.
That is very true. That is very true. And something that I always forget to think about, I think of planting with natives because they're used to the environment. Right. Obviously, they grow well here, but the food web is always an interesting part of planting with natives that you don't really think about how it impacts the critters in the area when you plant a plant.
An example of that is there's a problem with a population of monarch butterflies. And the population's falling because the native plant that they need to grow on, milkweed, is being wiped out by cultivation and other factors. So we're losing the monarch butterflies, and there's a move afoot in the environmental world to restock the monarch butterflies plant that they use to lay their eggs on.
That's brilliant. And over at Verde River Growers, you guys do an amazing job of having the most incredible selection of all these wonderful things. Do you have milkweed over there?
Yeah, actually we're working with Red Rock State Parks. They've got some of the native seed varieties that you wouldn't be able to find commercially, and so we've been growing those for a couple of years for them, and now there's some plants left over for us as well.
Wow, that's fantastic. And your involvement in the Alternative Plant Festival is huge. I mean, we couldn't have the Alternative Plant Festival without Verde River Growers.
Right.
Yeah, that's. How many is this now?
The fourth?
Third or fourth consecutive year, and as you say, it's exactly right. We couldn't do it without Verde River Growers, and it's just their help and cooperation is greatly appreciated.
Right. Okay, and now tell us the dates of the festival. What are we looking at this year?
April 22nd, and it starts at 8. We have speakers through 1 o'clock.
Right.
Very good.
And that's every hour.
Jeff Shalal, everyone knows Jeff Shalal, Mr. Gardner of Yavapai County.
There you go.
And several other people who maybe aren't as well known. Janice Montgomery of Birdie Thumb's Garden, and probably 3 others, I believe.
All right. Every hour there's a speaker?
Yeah, I think we have 5 of them scheduled.
Right.
Wow, that's brilliant. Where's it going to be held this year?
At the nursery, so we're off Rocking Chair Ranch Road between Mingus and 89A.
That's fun. Underneath the little shade tarps, the little
Yeah,
screens.
we'll have a shaded area for the classes.
Wow. What a great place to learn about native plants and hear speakers then amongst the native plants.
Right. Definitely.
Are you one of the speakers? How are you involved this year, Chris?
No, I'm the organizer in this case. I do some speaking to other organizations. I spoke recently at the Native Plant Workshop in Sedona, and I do some speaking at Ollie classes and the Lions and the Tigers and the Bears, oh my. But no, I'm primarily co-organizing this with Lindsey.
Excellent, excellent. And you're part of the Verde Natural Resource Conservation District. Explain to us what that is and what that does.
The Verde Natural Resource Conservation District, more commonly said Verde NRCD for obvious reasons, exists to promote the wise use of natural resources by producers, that being farmers, ranchers, so that they get the most out of their land with minimum damage, and just to promote good environmental health. And they need to stay in business.
Yes.
Right.
Absolutely. That's wonderful that you can help them and help them stay in business.
Well, there's a number of ways we do it. There's improvements they can make on their land, and there's monies available from the NRCS, Natural Resource Conservation Service, if the producers meet various conditions. So there's a lot of work we do to try and keep the environment well.
Excellent. And if they go to the website, they can find out all the information about what they do. And the website is nrcd.org.
VerdeNRCD.org.
There you go. Excellent. Yeah, it's a great website with lots of information for you there. Lindsey, how long have you been involved with Verde River Growers? A while?
A little over 4 years.
4 years. Excellent.
And I've started in the growing side of things. So I worked with propagation, and then I moved into management positions.
Oh, wonderful. What part of your job do you find most rewarding?
I think growing the plants is just really fun when you start out with seeds that you collected in the wild and you get them to germinate. Some things are really difficult. You have to simulate being digested. So there's breaking down the seed coat, and sometimes you boil the seeds or you use acid to break it down, and it can take months for plants to come up, and then to see them mature is really rewarding.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Like little green children everywhere. That's amazing to go through that process. I would love that too. Digesting seeds. Creating digestion of seeds. How neat. We don't think about that. One of the great things that you do is you wild harvest the seeds, so they're not produced someplace else.
Yeah, they're from the environment.
They're from here. And the team that you have, wow, I want to be part of the team that goes out into the forest and collects seeds.
Yeah.
Can I sign up for that job?
Volunteer.
Yes.
Well, okay. All right. That would be fun. That would be fun. Too cool. So again, April 22nd starts at 8 a.m. Goes until 1.
The speakers go until 1.
Speakers go until 1.
But we'll have people answering questions all day long and helping you out.
Okay. If they want more information about the Alternative Plant Festival, should they go to Verde River Growers website?
Yes, that'll be put on our website.
Okay.
So that's verderivergrowers.com.
Great.
And then we also will have it out in your local paper.
Excellent. Very, very good. And how long does it go to? So we know the speakers stop at 1, and then how much longer do you continue after
We're
that?
open until 5:30 that day.
Great. And well-staffed that day, I'm sure, for all the questions. And
frequently along about 3 o'clock, a big wind comes up and
because it's spring and
knocks
gets windy.
down our
oh my gosh,
our tents and whatnot.
Oh my! So it's exciting.
Yes.
Be there. What happens this year at the Alternative Plant Fair that is happening April 22nd over there at Verde River Growers off of Rocking Chair Ranch Road. Yeah. Thank you guys for being here,
Yeah,
Lindsey.
thanks for
thank you.
Appreciate it. Have a
Pleasure
great
being
festival
here.
this year, and we'll be right back. So don't go away.
It takes less than 1 minute to find out if you may have prediabetes. You can do it here. But you probably won't. You're busy. Kids, work, show coming back in 48 seconds. So let's do this now. Hold up 1 finger if you're a man. Women, 0. 3 more fingers if you're over 60. 2 over 50. 1 over 40. If you're not sure, keep in mind you're sitting on a couch right now, so 1 more finger if you're not very active. 1 finger if yes, 0 if no. 1 yes, 0 no. Next, find the body type that looks most like you and hold up that many fingers while I look around awkwardly. And that's it. If you're holding up 5 fingers or more, you probably have prediabetes. Sorry to be so blunt, but hey, you're busy. Just go to the site.
Hey, Gabby, how you doing? How's the play date and sleepover?
Dad, it was great.
Awesome. Okay, I'm on my way. Hey, guys, what are you doing?
We're going swimming. We're going biking. Yeah!
I'll see you in a little bit, guys. I love you.
Hi, babe. How was school today?
Hi, Dad. It was great.
Okay, honey. I'll be home soon. Remember, you're never too far away from your kids to be a dad. Reach out and take a second to check in, because sometimes the smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life.
And welcome back to the Verde Valley Experience. I now have the pleasure of sitting here with one of my favorite people in the Verde Valley, Sheila Stubler, who is the manager over at Fort Verde State Historic Park. Nice to see you.
You too.
Thank you
Good
for
to
being
see you.
here. And we're here to celebrate in honor of those she's missing because she's busy in graduating high school.
Yeah.
The amazing and talented Violet Garza.
Yeah, Violet Garza, she joined us when she was just a little one. Started out reenacting with, we had a little youth group, and Kiwanis had helped us with that. And so little kids that wanted to dress in period clothing and portray the reenactors of the Indian Wars era, dressed up and were marching around, doing drills and everything. And I think there was probably a group of probably about anywhere between 7 to 12 kids that originally started out. And that was way back in about 2009 or 10, something like that.
Yeah, I know. She started when she was, if you look at the upper, upper right-hand picture of that beautiful plaque that you made, there's Violet about 9 years old. How adorable is she?
Yeah.
She jumped right into it right then and has never stopped.
No, and she was just inspired on her own. She just, once she started reenacting, she just wanted to keep learning more about history. And then as she started coming to the History of the Soldier event at Fort Verde, she started meeting other reenactors, and she said, oh, you know, I'm curious about that period. So next thing you know, as she started getting older, she started doing, I believe it was the Marines, and so she was helping to reenact that, and she's done a couple of other different periods. So, but yeah, so every time we see her, which one are you going to do this year?
Right.
So, yeah.
Well, Violet was my go-to person for history questions or militaria or what's this medal? You know, when I owned the antique store, I had a lot of militaria, and Violet would come in. I go, oh, good. What's this? And I'd pull out all this stuff, and she'd go, well, this is that. And she knew everything. Yeah. And she was 14 at that time when I met her for the first time. You know, this little tiny redhead and this cute, I mean, she was adorable. And yet she'd go, well, this is from World War II, and this piece, it was brilliant. And I'd go, Violet, I got something for you. Come on over. And she'd come over. And then, and now she's going into the Marines.
That's my understanding, yeah. And yep, so she's not able to be with us today because she's in class right now. And so, but you know how it is when you're getting ready to graduate and you've got meetings and classes and exams and things like that. So, but we're very proud of her.
Yes.
She's just taken on this whole role, and other kids have been inspired to reenact because of her leadership.
Oh my gosh, she inspires me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Kids of all ages get inspired by Violet. She's just incredibly dedicated and just really loves what she's doing, and the fact that she's going to serve our country. Thank you for your service, Violet. Thank you to everyone who serves for our country.
Absolutely.
But she's going to really bring it to life now. She'll no longer be reenacting. She will be.
Absolutely.
That's and really, Sheila, you have to look at how you guys helped her with that. You have to give yourselves credit, you personally and the fort, for the direction that this lovely young woman's life has taken.
Well, that's what we're there for. I mean, the thing is that if we can inspire kids to get excited about history and to want to learn about all the sacrifices that have been made on behalf of this freedom that we have, that's what we're there for. And so we want to mentor kids. That's part of why we started having the staging area where families, from little kids on up, can put on period clothing so they get a feel for it, and they can know what it's like to wear the wool uniform and that kind of thing. And so as we're trying to find more creative ways to inspire kids and to get them involved, it's neat to see how some of the kids, once you light that little flame inside them, they just take off and they start doing their own thing and their own research.
Oh yeah,
so
absolutely. That's one of my favorite things at the fort. As you walk in, you turn to the right, that first room, there's all that period clothing.
Yeah.
And you can put it on and dress up, and of course, oh, it's funny, but then you go, wow, people wore this, this is what they did things in, and it does inspire people, because you talk to people, wow, 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 in one ear, out the other, but if you show it to them, if you give it to them, if they get to touch it, it's
you put on the 7 layers of clothing.
Yeah. Only go, wow, I weigh 100 pounds more, and it's
absolutely
hot.
Right. Yeah.
You do such an amazing job over there at Fort Verde State Historic Park.
Well, thank you, and the kudos really goes to our volunteers. We have school groups. We've had 500 students that have already come through Fort Verde since January of this year, and we have wonderful volunteers that dress up in period clothing, and they're very passionate about interpreting history as well. And so we could always use more volunteers, but we want to say thank you to our volunteers. And of course, Violet will be at the History of the Soldier event, which is this weekend, April 8th and 9th. We're having that, and so we're looking forward to just getting everybody together and celebrating all the accomplishments that she's had over the years.
Good. You can celebrate that there.
Absolutely.
Good. That's great. So that's coming up on the April 8th and 9th. And previous shows, we had the Buffalo Soldiers on. They're going to be there. We talked to the lovely Mr. Erb about the surgeon stuff. He's going to be there. I mean, it's a big deal. Of course, we had Mr. Yazzie. He's going to be in conjunction with that, too. I mean, it's the most amazing amount of history in one place. And the reenactors, I love the reenactors. And this is, I think, the first time we've had you on the show in your uniform.
In a while.
Versus in the lovely period clothing.
This is much more comfortable.
It's much cooler. Absolutely, for sure.
Yeah, and our Bob Erb, he will be doing the Revolutionary War period for our History of the Soldier event. So if you haven't seen his display, you'll have to come on over and check that out. So,
absolutely. And even if you manage to miss History of the Soldier, I don't recommend it. But if you do, it's okay. The fort is open 7 days a week?
Yep, from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. And the History of the Soldier event happens every year. So it'll be the second weekend in April, pretty much every year, except when there's when Easter is that weekend. So but otherwise, it's the second weekend in April of every year. Yeah. So if you miss it this year, come out next year.
There you go. and then you can always come out next week. Next month, whatever. The history is always there, and you guys are so great about telling it, and you can experience it. And I love how the homes are set up. I just want to sit in the living room and sit by the fire and knit. It inspires me to want to be part of that.
Well, we have extra chairs and extra period clothing if you
I know you do. You say that every time. And you have something that fits me because I've done
And you have dressed up before. So,
I have. Every chance I get.
That's
absolutely.
Right.
I'm a somewhat closet reenactor.
Well, once you start wearing the clothing, it just kind of fits like a glove. So.
Oh, it's just fun.
Yeah.
It really is fun. And Fort Verde State Historic Park is a lot of fun. And it's really beautifully well done. You do an amazing job. And Violet's been part of that, and I'm sad to see her go, I have to say. I mean, I'm sad to see her leave, but thank you, Violet. We love you.
Yeah, we do. And we wish her the absolute best. And, she's amazing with everything that she's accomplished. And so, like you said, we learn from her. And so continue to look forward to learning from her.
Absolutely. I hope she sends us a postcard. Send us a postcard.
Yay.
Lots of postcards where you are. Draw us a map. That'll be great. Sheila, thank you so much for being here.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Really appreciate it. It's always wonderful to see you. Have an excellent history of the soldier, and of course, continue on with the amazing things you do at the fort.
And you as well. So we appreciate it.
No problem.
Thank you.
And we'll be right back, so don't go away. And welcome back to the Verde Valley Experience. We now have the extreme pleasure to be brought into one of the most wonderful places. If you're into rocks like I am, you need to meet Pat McMahan, who is wow, what would you call yourself besides a rock hound? I mean, you're more than a rock hound.
I'm just a passionate agate collector.
There you go. A passionate agate collector has collected well over 8,000 pieces, just 8,000 pieces in your museum. Tell us about your museum that you have, Pat.
Well, it's a cross-section of agates from about 500 different locations. There's quite a variety of agates, the different types of agates represented. And it's the work of about 30 years of, I've been very fortunate to have been retired that long, and so it's been a full-time passion, and I actually go out and dig these silly rocks, and I've been all over, and I've been to Argentina and Mexico. I spent a great deal of time in Mexico until things got dangerous down there, and I've been to Canada, and of course up to Alaska, and 20 other states in the U.S. collecting these rocks.
That's amazing. And you seem to like to specialize in agates. Why did you choose agate?
Well, as a kid, when I was 8 years old, I had a neighbor friend that was a rock hound in his 70s, and he was passionate about agates, and he loved to cut them, and I'd go over to his place and we would cut and polish and get ready for shows, get his displays set up and catalog his collection and all that sort of thing. And it was, we had a lot of fun together.
Oh,
and
I bet.
It left an impression with me that stuck for a lifetime.
And what is an agate? I mean, most people know what a crystal is. You see quartz crystals and amethyst, and then you have rock. What's the difference?
Agate is actually a type of quartz. It's a non-crystalline quartz, and it often forms as a result of volcanic ash, like you have at Mount St. Helens. So you have a lava flow like you have in Hawaii that has gas pockets and cracks in it, and those become the future home of agates, and then you have a subsequent eruption with volcanic ash, and then it rains on top of the ash, and the rainwater comes down, picks up the silica or the ash. Ash is a form of quartz, and it deposits it, soaks through the lava rock, fills the gas pockets, and in the process, if it picks up minerals, then you have agates that are colored and have inclusions of different kinds, tree-like inclusions, needles and other inclusions. And so that's, then what happens is it rains, the ash is washed away after millions of years, and the lava rock turns into this rich, dark soil, and then the agates are just laying there for us to pick up.
They're just laying there like that. That's the most amazing thing. Now, they're not just laying there. They're hunks of raw rock. Now, I'm holding a piece of malachite, which is one of my favorites. This is a raw piece. And tell us, if you can, briefly, the lapidary process of taking something from this to this.
Well, what we did on this one, we typically take them out to the cutting room and cut slices or cut an edge off. We call it a window. And then we polish it. And there's different types of equipment available to polish it. This one we used a grinder and we ground it down and kind of contour polished it. And if we did that one that way, it would be very interesting as well. Often petrified wood is done that way.
Oh yes, that's one of my favorites. Now, how many hours, I mean, not particularly this piece, because I can't imagine how many hours would go into that.
Actually, a piece like that would take probably 4 or 5 hours.
Really? Is that all?
Yeah.
Oh, I would think more.
So you start out with a real rough grinding wheel, and then you go to smoother and smoother. It'd be just like...
Hence all these wheels behind us.
Yes, right, exactly.
Now, you did an amazing thing. Besides collecting a million rocks, you wrote the most beautiful book. Tell us about your book.
Well, the book is 500 pages, 1,250 color photographs that my son and I took of agates from 300 locations. And it is it's photos from my collection. The book is called Agates, the Pat McMahan Collection, and I've been told by a number of agate collectors it's as beautiful a agate book as ever has been published.
Really?
So it just came out, and we're very excited about it.
I bet.
And the reviews have just been terrific.
It is really the most gorgeous book I think I've ever seen.
Oh,
the photographs are incredible. You can check it out on Amazon. Love Amazon. That's a great place to get books. You can also get it off the website, agateswithinclusions.com.
Right.
Right? So you can check that out. Huge, and it's a coffee table book. You know, it's one of those pieces of art that you lay out on your table next to all your new rock collection that you're going to start now. What's the way to get started in rock collecting?
Well, one way is to join a rock club. And here in this area, the Sedona Gem and Mineral Club is a great club to join. They meet at the library once a month. If you Google Sedona Gem and Mineral Club, you'll come up with their website and so forth. But they do field trips, and you're going out to known agate localities. We also collect fossils and crystals and other things. So you'll be going with people who are experienced, and you can pretty much have a productive trip.
Right, that's a good way. You can go with a guide, of course, with a group, with someone who's going to know that that rock is actually something special, or just pick up a book, right?
You could get a guidebook. Gem Trails of Arizona is a good book.
There you go.
And if you like a particular rock, look it up, and there'll be a map that'll take you to those areas.
See, easy peasy. You can get out in the fresh air and find, I mean, the rocks in Arizona are unbelievable. Pat, amazing collection. Thank you for letting us in. Really, really do appreciate it.
Well, you're certainly welcome. Thank you.
This is Pat McMahan. You must know this man. You must meet him. Check out agateswithinclusions.com. Check out the book, all the different identification photos on the website. You're going to love it. And we'll be right back, so don't go away.
I'm Jenny Garth, and as a mother of 3, I know kids worry about a lot of things. Getting enough food to eat shouldn't be one of them. But here in America, that is a real worry for 1 in 5 children. Even though we are one of the most food-rich countries in the world, 15 million children don't know where their next meal is coming from. This is unacceptable, and something the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks is working to solve. Instead of accepting that our country lets billions of pounds of surplus food go to waste every year, Feeding America has made it their mission to help families in need by rescuing this food. Through food pantries and meal programs, the nationwide network of food banks provides more than 3 billion meals, serving virtually every community in the United States, including yours. Join me in supporting Feeding America and your local food bank by visiting feedingamerica.org. Together, we can solve hunger. Together, we're feeding America.
So take me down to Tennessee. If the cards say it ain't meant to be, for the love of God, don't tell me these things. I tried to make it right in all the wrong ways. look what they done to you, crow in the rain. So take me down to Tennessee and let me have a good night's sleep. I'd be just fine if I had a little company. And in the morning I'd drive so fast I make the highway hold its breath. Well, I'ma die alone, and I think that might be best. Well, somewhere between the love and the rage, you were all of my bad days. Unique in what you think, but not what you say. I wanna drown it all in a bitter sea. Inhale sweet, exhale salty. I wanna feel the wrath of God buried in me. So take me down to Tennessee and let me have a good night's sleep. I'd be just fine if I had a little company. And the mornings ain't so great, what a sunshine anyway. When your eyes are burned, even after you turned away. So take me down to Tennessee and let me have a good night's sleep. I'd be just fine if I had a little company. And in the morning I drive so fast I make the highway hold its breath. Well, I'ma die alone, and I think that might be best. Well, I'ma die alone, and I think that might be best.
Very nice. Thank you very much. This is Hank Erwin, everyone. That was great. Your voice is wonderful, and you've probably heard it before, but it's slightly similar to Brad Roberts from Crash Test Dummies, which when he first came out, everyone was like, my God, that's the most unusual voice we've ever heard, because not too many people have a bass baritone type voice, and you can hit those notes. You can hear it. It's in there. That's very cool. That makes you very different from pretty much anybody else in the Verde Valley. Nobody has that range, and that really brings more emotion and more soul into the music, I think. So
I have heard that connection once or twice. I can never remember his name, but then when they say the Crash Test Dummies, I'm like, oh yeah,
that guy from there, Brad Roberts. Yeah, right. Oh yeah, I know. That's the most amazing thing. So thank God you're a singer, because thank you for bringing that out.
You're welcome.
Now you write all your own music. That's correct. And you've got an album out called A Million Miles.
I do.
And that's, where can we get that one?
That you can get online on iTunes, Amazon, Spotify, Grace Note, any of that stuff. You can pick it up locally a couple of places. The Funky Side Studio in Jerome has copies. Tommy Rocks Music Shop in Jerome has copies. You can come to shows and buy them there.
Good. That was my next question. Do you carry them around with you?
Yeah,
if you go to the website, hankerwinmusic.com, you can hear it.
You can hear it and buy it through there, that's bandcamp.com, which is one of my favorite ways for people to buy it because they give me the most money.
Hey, go Bandcamp. Now, when did you start performing and singing?
I got my first guitar when I was 9. It took me 2 years to torture my parents into finally getting me a guitar. I came to them when I was 7 and said I wanted to play guitar, and they had both been forced to take music lessons when they were kids and both hated it. And so it was like one of their first dates kind of thing almost. They were like, oh my God, if we ever get married and have kids, we will never make them take music lessons. And so when I said, I want to play, they're like, no, you don't. No, you don't.
Oh my gosh.
So I pestered them for a long time, and they finally caved and bought me some cheap Strat knockoff. And that was where that started. It took me another 10 years to try to sing, you know, when no one was home and the doors were locked and I was in the basement with the lights off and, you know, little peeps kind of thing and little baby steps after that.
Well, that's when here you are. It's magnificent.
Yeah, now it's my full-time job. So
it's full-time job, full-time musician. That's really rare. So that's a testament to your talent.
I consider myself very lucky.
Yeah, for sure. Your songs, the lyrics are just so raw and intimate. And it sounds like it's coming all from personal experiences. Is that true?
Yes, unfortunately.
Well, you've put it to good use. You know?
Yeah, well, I try to, there's this balance between trying to sound too clever, you know what I mean? And then just trying to, just come out with it, just say it, So some songwriters that overthink the words, and I used to do that for a long time. Like I tried to say it in some unique way, but sometimes there's something more that kind of cuts through more about saying it very plain.
Sure.
It's like the less flash around it. It's just, it's more like more people can relate to it rather than having to stop and think, wait a minute, what did he mean by that?
Right, yeah. Well, the more truth and the closer to home was where it hits people, and then they can relate and they bond to your music, which is a wonderful thing to have happen.
Yeah, if it works that way.
Yeah, and a great place to put it for you. It's a wonderful place. Music is therapeutic, whether you listen to it, write it, play it. Either way, it's a healing modality.
Very much.
Music, and to be able to share that, and thank you for sharing, all the details of your life through your music. It makes everyone feel closer to themselves because they can relate. And you've had a jam-packed, interesting life.
Yeah, sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes. Not all the time.
Really, yeah. It's either really exciting or really boring, and there's seems to be like no middle ground.
You're an extremist then.
Full throttle or nothing at all.
Oh, hey, there's a title for a song on your new album. So we talked about A Million Miles, but you're working on a new album, aren't you?
I am. I have enough material for probably 2 or 3 albums right now that I just need to get onto a CD. I'll probably be running a Kickstarter in the next couple of months to try to get the money together. That's how I funded my last one.
All right.
And so it's scary to think about because it's asking for a lot of money, and if you don't get it, you don't get anything, and then it's kind of back to the drawing board. But I got a couple friends I've heard their new albums coming out that are just killing it, and it's some incredible stuff from some friends of mine in Austin, in Terlingua, Texas, and Cincinnati. I have friends from those places that have some amazing albums about to come out in the next couple of months. And I was just hearing those, like their studio, the rough cuts. I was just like, all right, it's time. I gotta get something else out. The old album isn't quite up to date with me anymore.
Lit a fire under you. Do you have a title for the next album?
I don't.
Oh, okay.
I don't. That's a good question though.
That's okay. It'll come. Now the song that you just sang, what was that one called?
I just call that one Tennessee.
Tennessee, and
I'm bad at naming songs. I'm really bad at naming songs. It's just like either about the place I'll call it the place I was where I wrote it or something like that. Or but that one just like it's got that repeating hook about Tennessee, so it's like okay.
That's perfect. And that one's going to go on the new album.
Yeah,
so
I like that one.
And you're going to sing us another song, which is also going to go on the new album.
Yes.
What's that one called?
I've been calling this the Beacon song.
The Beacon song.
Beacon, something like that. It's kind of has this chorus about a beacon.
That's cool. So. Now you're from Kentucky, so who would you say were your biggest inspirations as far as when you got into music and where you picked your style up from?
Oh man, I really fell into like folk songwriting kind of accidentally. I grew up listening to heavy metal, and that was like all I cared about.
Wow.
Vernon Reed, Living Color was what made me want to buy a guitar when I was 7. That was the obsession. Like, oh my God, I want to do that.
All right.
And then kind of I bought an acoustic out of a trunk of a car when I was 17 or so, and it didn't have strings or it was missing a bunch of stuff, but I just thought it would be cool to have an acoustic, and that was when I started writing songs, and it kind of came out sounding, definitely not like metal. It was like this, more like, not country so much at first, but more of this folk kind of thing, and it was through that, I was like, well, maybe I'll try, who else is writing stuff like this, and then I started looking around, and there's just a world of it, it's just so many people, speaking like you mentioned about therapy before, I've been to the Kerrville Folk Festival in Texas many times, and that's very much like people just sit in a circle and pass the guitar around, and just everybody takes their turn to tell their story. It's similar to like a group therapy or an AA meeting or something like that, where it's just like you put it into verse, and it doesn't have to be an amazing performance. or you know, you don't have to be a great singer or whatever. It's just, you know, telling your story.
Wow. Well, you've got it all because you're an amazing performer. You've got a great story. You're tremendously talented. So
thank you.
Thank you for being in the Verde Valley.
Absolutely.
Good luck on your next album. Check out the Kickstarter. It's going to start happening. HankErwinMusic.com. Check it out. Make sure you check this man out. Vino de Sedona. You play several other places. Go to Tommy Rock's Music up in Jerome. You might run into him. You never know. Thank you very much for watching the Verde Valley Experience. We really, really appreciate you. I'm going to leave you with Hank Erwin's going to play another song for you. So make sure you check us out next time. You can check out VerdeValleyTV.com. Check us out on Facebook too and on YouTube, and we'll see you next time.
Your rowboat is rotting and the sails are all torn. The barnacles have grown down so far, they cut the ocean floor. And I'm afraid of succeeding for all that I could lose. I feel safer with nothing, stagnant is freedom from the pressure to do, from the pressure to do. These crutches have taken me as far as they can. As strong as they are, they don't do the walking, they just tell me stand. And courage is nothing, just fizzles and fades, and barely enough to keep going through this life of wasted days. Life a wasted day. But I was your beacon, and I was gonna see it through. I didn't want you thinking, I didn't want to be with you. And I was your beacon, shining above you. I couldn't have you thinking that I didn't love you. In the hall it is crying, and the waves have grown tall. And with a bit of luck, this'll all be over before very long. With a bit of luck, this'll all be over before very long. But I was your beacon, I was gonna see it through. I couldn't have you thinking I didn't want to be with you. And I was your beacon, I was gonna guide you. I couldn't have you thinking I wouldn't be alright for you.